What if you could put an end to broken record arguments in your relationship? What if you could stop taking so much time and effort to avoid triggers and lie and live authentically and know how to confidently work with conflict and triggers, even celebrate them to reach even greater intimacy with your own divine nature and your partner? I am so excited to be here and welcome you to 8 Steps to Replace Conflict with Greater Intimacy. I'm Amanda Aloesh. And again, so honored to be here. And I want to acknowledge you for being here today on this auspicious solstice, wishing you a happy solstice. And I invite you to share your inspirations, add your comments, add your responses, questions, and I promise I'm going to stay engaged with you here throughout this whole festival. I want to also acknowledge one of my BFFs, Jessica Hadari, who is the creatrix of this incredible gathering of global light leaders, feminine global light leaders, and such an incredible ally for the global sisterhood. Bless your life, Jessica. Thank you for inviting me and all of the incredible women who are sharing their wisdom here on this amazing platform and in this amazing community. So, can I share quickly why I'm so passionate about replacing conflict with greater intimacy? One of my most esteemed teachers, Mayan shaman Martine Prechtel, said that violence comes from a lack of conflict. When we avoid conflict and we put off working through really important misalignments and misunderstandings and triggers, they stack and they build, and then they come out in really big and painful ways. Not just personally, but globally. As within, so without. Our whole world is suffering from a lack of ability to dance with conflict. And instead, it leads to violence and pain and suffering in our homes and globally. And it's my personal mission to offer the valuable tools that I've learned to help you to lean into conflict confidently so that you can replace it with greater intimacy. Take a moment and imagine how much would be different in your life, in your relationships, in your home, and on our planet if every human could do this, could learn how to dance with conflict and use it as a stepping stone into greater connection and healing. So today I'm going to give you just a succulent little appetizer, but it really is just a sampler because this is all really deep and rich. It's a really deep, rich process that takes some time. But don't worry, I have a really valuable gift that will dive much deeper and give you all the goods to do this replacing conflict with greater intimacy. All will be revealed in the gift that I will share at the end of this offering. So stay tuned and make sure to get it for yourself. Um, so deep, long-lasting relationships will bring up your core wounds. If you didn't already know, this is a sacred gift. And to be able to unwrap that gift and enjoy it, you must know how to navigate the triggers that will inevitably arise as you become intimately connected with someone. And by the way, this isn't just for romantic partners, it's for family, friends, colleagues, but it shows up most potently in our most intimate relationships, our romantic partnerships. So, if you're currently in or have ever been in an intimate relationship, you've probably experienced that beautiful honeymoon phase, right? And then you start to see the shadow emerge in yourself, in your partner. You start to trigger each other at some point. And then, out of love, you do your best to avoid triggering your partner, and you start to squeeze yourself into these shapes and think about how are they going to respond to this? What do I need to do to not trigger that thing again? I don't want that to happen again. And you both start to manipulate yourselves to avoid the trigger, which is completely impossible to do. And then that self manipulation and not allowing yourself to really be source led and authentic and free to express yourself because you're afraid of the triggers, or maybe you're afraid of your own triggers and manipulating yourself that way. Wow. Then you start to get into that resentment phase. Look at all that I'm doing to make you happy, and I'm still not making you happy. We're still having the conflict. It's so frustrating, and that's where the relationship starts to spiral down, and you start to have those broken record conflicts, those broken record arguments, and they, either stay stuck in this stagnant thing until you're just completely apathetic, or it spirals down in a really hard way. Sound familiar? Yeah. So imagine what would be possible if, instead of going into so much effort to avoid triggering your partner, you could both be truly free to live authentically, like a grown-ass human. Know that you're definitely going to trigger each other, and to actually celebrate that, because you know how to confidently dance with those conflicts and triggers and turn them into a deeper connection with yourself primarily and your partner, to really be seen on a deep, intimate level, what we all crave and we're also so afraid of, right? Being really seen in those shadowy places. What if you were able to use those triggers as a long-term cleanup and healing of old childhood wounding? How would your relationships be different? Well, I believe that every relationship, especially those intimate ones, they are an opportunity to do deep core wound healing. And that's a sacred union, a sacred contract, soul contract that we come into with our loved ones to do that deep healing work. The problem is we haven't been taught how to do it. We tend to avoid conflict. We tend to, do whatever to appease and tread lightly around the minefields. And I've been so shocked, honestly, that this approach that I'm going to share with you is not more commonly known. But I don't remember who said it. Common sense isn't as common as it should be. And so that's why I wrote the book that I'm sharing this 8-step approach from, and I'm going to be giving it to you as a gift. It is not as common as I would hope, but it brings me great pleasure to share it with you today. So I found some secrets, and I have found an approach to sacred relationship. Again, honestly shocked that it's not commonly known. It's not being shared by therapists. It's not being shared by relationship coaches. I've had the honor and privilege to work with so many couples and clients, individual clients who, unfortunately, they've told me that they have worked. Also, they've worked with countless therapists and relationship coaches and almost given up hope because it felt like it just perpetuated or sometimes even agitated the problems. And they felt like they were just reporting what was going on and not really getting a whole lot in return. But within a few weeks of doing this approach with me and learning how to really incorporate it, because it is deep work, but within just a few short weeks, countless clients and couples have been able to pull back from the brink of divorce and now enjoy levels of intimacy they didn't even know were possible. Again, there is so much that we could dive into in this, so much I want to share with you, and I will, just not live. I will share it in the gift that I am offering you in the links that are provided and will be provided in the comments. So make sure that you get them, stay tuned. And again, remember to ask your questions, share your comments, share your inspirations, and I'll stay engaged with you throughout the festival. So I'm going to share with you now the 8 simple steps to really turn your triggers into a deeper understanding of yourself and to enjoy greater intimacy in your relationships. I encourage you to take notes. Again, ask questions. Happy to clarify. And here we go. These are the 8 steps. This is number 1. The first rule, the first priority is to take care of yourself. And that means your body, your nervous system. When you get triggered, when there's a conflict and the voices get raised and there's clenching and the nervous system is on fire, you know that now is the time. Take a time out, relax, and release it. Release those intense feelings so that you can do true healing. Promise yourself to do this first. There's always the desire, we're gonna work through this, I'm gonna argue about this, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, but to really give yourself permission to take a break and take care of yourself. There are many ways, you may already have some. There are a bunch that I go into in my book. Here are just a few. My favorite one is a deep breath. And I usually feel it in my chest, so I imagine the breath is just filling and giving myself a stretch in this constricted area. Ooh, I just popped my sternum doing that deep breath. And release. I like to kind of like shake it off. A nice brisk walk. Sometimes a meditation. Good to have some things on hand to remind yourself in the trigger how you can support yourself in calming down and releasing that charge from your body. Step number 2 is to celebrate. And this is counterintuitive and you're not going to feel it at first, but this is part of the recalibration of your whole mind, body, spirit complex, including your nervous system, to start repatterning yourself to lean into conflict, to trust that it's actually a good thing and it's going to help you to elevate your life. It's going to help you to heal your wounds. It's going to help you to connect more deeply with your partner. And so the way I celebrate is I drop into a moment of prayer and say, thank you for this opportunity to heal. Even if I'm not feeling it at the beginning, it takes some time for it to genuinely kick in. But I say, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the trigger. Thank you for the conflict and this opportunity to do some healing and to experience greater intimacy on the other side of this. And take a moment to imagine celebrating it. What would it be like if I were able to celebrate what's going on right now? Wouldn't it be amazing? How would my body feel if I could celebrate this and trust that there was going to be some incredible gift on the other side? Let your body really imagine it. This will help repattern. Step number 3. Is that 3? Yeah, 3. Step number 3, get curious about yourself. Now, this is the deepest step, and it's the one that I like to unpack most with my clients with a process I call subconscious success repatterning. It's a body, mind, spirit. So it's an embodied practice, tuning in to what's going on inside of that trigger, really being able to listen. What is the core wounding? What is the alarm? Because all triggers are alarms. All pain and suffering internally, mentally, emotionally, physically, phenomenologically, socially, relationally. They're all alarms going off trying to get your attention. And it's good to bring loving, kind attention. And so subconscious success repatterning will bring you to that. There are other self-inquiry processes. If you're curious about mine, stay tuned, stay connected, and I will get you hooked up with those resources. In the meantime, just know this is your opportunity to get to know what's going on inside of you, hopefully without blame or criticism of yourself or others, letting go of the judgment, just getting the helpful information with loving kindness towards yourself. Step number 4, let the elevation in. Now is the time to be curious about what can happen in this moment and the next few moments to offer you a new, healing, and elevated experience. It's easier to think of solutions and new possibilities when you're resourced, so you've got to do all the other steps first. If you're remembering similar past experiences that were traumatizing or painful, what can you offer yourself now that will feel good to your current self and also bring some soothing and relief to that younger you that didn't get what they needed? An example might be if you experienced neglect and you realize this is the trigger that's coming up, how can you provide care and nurturing for yourself in this moment to feel taken care of? All right, step number 5, we're moving on swiftly. Is there anything that you would do differently? So sometimes when we're triggered, we behave poorly. And even though it's justified because we were triggered and it was hard and we were in a hard place, doesn't mean that it was okay. Having a good excuse to behave badly is not the same as behaving well. I love that quote from Medicine Path President Jeff Wright. So once you tune in, it's like, oh yeah, I was kind of rude. Yeah, I was slamming things around. I was unpleasant. I apologize for that rude behavior. This is how I would do it differently. And give yourself an opportunity to really think about how you could do it differently. Again, with love, with kindness, with compassion, and still acknowledge, take accountability for how it could have been better. Clean it up. It feels really good when you do. Step number 6, future casting. If, and more likely when, this trigger arises again, how would you like to see you and your partner respond? Now that you have this deep understanding and awareness, take a moment to really imagine it. I can imagine letting myself feel triggered, taking care of it, letting my partner know I'm triggered, asking for what I need, bringing this new insight into it, and feeling better. So take a moment to imagine it fully in as much detail as possible. Write it out, share it, replay it in your mind, refer to it as much as possible, and it will help you to step into this new response more frequently, more swiftly in the future. Number 7, make your clean requests of your partner. Now's a great time to share because you've processed, you've elevated, you've brought the solution focus to it. Now you can make a clean request to your partner that they're more likely to be receptive to. Clean energetically because you're not in a charged, angry place, and you're going to have the solution to offer. Here's what I'd like to see in the future. And then think about, how would you want to hear this request being made to you? Make sure you word it in a kind way that you would want to receive. Number 8, congratulate yourself. And here's another recalibration of mind, body, spirit. To repattern yourself, take a moment to really congratulate yourself for doing the important and not always easy work of elevationship and turning your triggers into an opportunity for healing and turning conflict into greater intimacy. It can be awkward at first, but over time, you are going to see results. And so ending on a note of self-acknowledgement is going to help you make it more likely that you're going to choose this process the next time a trigger arises. So those are the 8 steps to turn conflict into greater intimacy. Again, this is just a little tiny sampler of a whole approach I call elevationship. I have written a book about it because I'm so passionate about it. I think it's so important for everybody to know. When we have peaceful families and households, it can echo out. and the world needs more peace right now. I'm Amanda Aloesh. I refer to myself as a source heiress. I am on a source guided path of service to help awaken, to help do this deep healing work through relationship and through primarily your relationship with yourself and source. You as well can be a source heiress. I've had academic pursuits, studying human consciousness, the subconscious, spiritual development, and I've been on a shamanic path of study with indigenous wisdom keepers from the Mestizo, Mayan, and Native American traditions, as well as a Kali lineage, Hindu lineage, and Tibetan Buddhist tradition, insight meditation. And I am an entheogenic priestess. Entheogen means generating God within, and it's a new term for psychedelics, more sacred, respectful term. I work with sacred plant medicines. I've served over 1,000 people and have helped many to do really deep healing with and without plant medicines, healing of core wounds. And I work with couples and I work with individuals to be a source heiress as well, to live authentically, to stop avoiding your own triggers and other people's triggers, and instead use them as the sacred gift that they are to elevate yourself, to elevate your relationships, to elevate the planet, the vibration of the planet, to turn conflict into greater intimacy. And so the gift that I'm giving you, that I would love for you to receive, pick up, enjoy it, use it, share it, is my book, Elevationship: Replace Conflict with Greater Intimacy. It's on Amazon in softcover, it's on Kindle, and it's on Audible. And I'm going to give it to you in an e-copy form for free. Please make sure to pick it up. It's a great gift for the holidays. It's good to be familiar with as you start to spend time with family and loved ones and feel those triggers arising. I gifted it to all my family, and they have reported excitement and gratitude for receiving it. Again, hope that you enjoy it. Hope that you get much out of it. Please share any questions that you've had in this offering today, in what I've shared with you. If you have comments, if you have inspirations, make sure to comment, and make sure to also DM me if you want to get more gifts. I have more tools and resources to help you really dive in and do this process deeply. I have a very limited calendar every month of working with a few couples and a few individuals each month to really walk you through this process to do the deep core wounding and learn how to bring it on board. I'm here to share it with you on any level possible. So DM me, reach out to me, stay connected. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you to also be a source heiress. Thank you. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your sacred time with me. Thank you to all of the incredible presenters who are here and about to share their wisdom over the next many days. What an incredible global community this is. I honor each of you who are presenting. I honor each of you who are showing up, because I know the fact that you're here means that you have a heart of gold, that you are here to embody and to birth more light onto the planet, to help the great awakening that's happening right now, to make a stand for peace on the planet. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for being a like-hearted soul family. Thank you for sharing. And until we get to connect again, may the source be with you.